Hello everyone, this is Zibo and welcome to today's World Flipper video. So in today's video, I'm going to showcase my Light Fever team featuring half anniversary Neptune within the World Flipper Taiwan server. Due to the release of half anniversary Neptune, the Light Fever setup is really powerful within the Taiwan server right now. So within the global server, we don't have the half anniversary Neptune, so the Light Fever team is relatively tamed at that manner. However, with the release of two units which are half anniversary Neptune as well as Irumi, the Light Fever setup is going to be really solid. So if you guys are into the Fever playstyle or if you guys are into the Fever mechanics, then do save up for this team because this team is a really fun team with Perma-Fever and a lot of very special animation as I'll showcase to you guys later. Before I start talking in depth about the team setup as well as how the different equipments as well as heroes work together, let us talk about the two key units within the team itself, which are half anniversary Neptune as well as Irumi. So for half anniversary Neptune, she provides a major attack boost for all light characters during the Fever mode as well as increases Fever mode duration by 30%. At the same time, her skill provides a regeneration buff for all light element party member, and when her skill is activated during Fever, it grants the whole party with an additional double attack buff. So it's a super big boost, and even though the skill doesn't sound that fantastic, but it synergizes really well with her main character kit. So from her abilities, we can see that when battle start, she allows all light characters to have skill gauge plus 100%. So all your characters are able to unleash their skill the moment the battle starts. At the same time, when she recovers HP, she increases the Fever gauge as well as all light characters attack up to a total of 25%. And during Fever, the light characters' direct attack damage is increased by 200%. So from this whole kit, she is undoubtedly the strongest leader unit for the Light Fever team right now. And I think she's the reason why the Light Fever team is gonna stay dominant for quite a while because her kit is so powerful, and you just need to include other light units which are very strong within the Fever mode or other light units that deals more damage during Fever mode in order to make this team really solid and lasting in the long run. And the next core unit is Irumi, so we will skip the leader buff because she's not used as the leader within the party, but looking at her skill, she will call out balls that shines in 7 colors, inflicting light resist down debuff as well as fill up the Fever gauge on contact with the enemies. At the same time, these light balls also heal the whole party members' HP by 10%, and the effect is enhanced on light characters. Abilities include when the multi balls appear, you will fill up the Fever gauge faster, and she also increases the Fever mode duration, and whenever light characters recover HP, you also increase the Fever gauge as well. So when you put her as the main character, she further increases the Fever mode duration, and during the Fever mode, she actually increases all light characters' direct attack damage by an additional 100%. So when you stack her up together with Neptune, you can see that you can form a cycle of healing up your team, filling up your Fever gauge, increasing the duration of your Fever gauge, and then boosting the whole team's direct attack damage during Fever itself. So let's take a look at the team setup. So I'm not gonna do a translation for the language over here because there's quite a bit of information. I'm just gonna briefly talk about the weapons, the hero abilities, and how they mix up together. And the first column consists of half anniversary Neptune as well as Tejas. So I talked about Neptune already, I shall not talk too much about it. I'm going to focus on Tejas. So Tejas' ability within this column is for his first as well as second ability as well as his skill. So for the first ability, whenever self recovers HP, he increases the skill gauge by 5% up to 20 times, and when battle starts, he increases the own skill gauge by 80%. So the second part of this ability is kind of useless because Neptune already provided a 100% skill gauge at battle start. So yeah, that's that. And the second ability increases all light characters' direct attack damage by 100% during Fever mode. So basically a Fever mode support. And the most important part of this character's kit is the skill in terms of the Unison slot. So the skill provides a lot of damage and also grants the break effect on the enemy. So it's really powerful for this setup because this setup is very direct attack dependent. So being able to down the enemy and dealing additional damage is really helpful as well. That's why Tejas is within my team itself. So the weapon is the book that can be obtained from the admin boss itself. And this weapon provides additional attack for the light characters during Fever mode itself. And for the Unison Orb, it's a sword known as the PHL sword, which increases light characters' direct attack damage by up to 75%. For the second column, we have Irumi as well as Result. So these two units needs no introduction, they're just amazing support unit providing the fever support as well as the attack buff for the whole party. And Result himself actually provides the heal, which will cycle through the different healing effects of Neptune even faster. And for the weapon, I use the PHL sword. So when this sword is equipped as the main character's weapon, it increases all light characters' direct attack damage by 150% during fever mode. And the Unison Orb is obviously the PHL sword for more direct attack damage. The third column is Neptune and Irumi. So this column is actually work in progress because I'm thinking what is a better unit to sub for Irumi instead of using Irumi. But right now I'm using Neptune and Irumi because Neptune provides additional fever time, provides additional fever support for the light characters' increased attack, as well as the increase for the fever gauge whenever the HP recovers. So this will increase the overall fever duration, making fever permanent within this team itself. And for Irumi, it's for the light resist down, debuff removal, as well as the increase in direct attack damage. So the weapon that I equip on this column is the light robot from the newer light boss, which is known as the LI 5200. So this weapon increases light characters' attack damage by 50% when the character equipping this equipment is above 60% HP. So the Unison Orb is actually the PHL sword for this one as well. Therefore, this team has a lot of sustain, is able to enter fever mode really quickly and able to maintain the high damage output as long as it stays within the fever mode itself. So I'll showcase this team's prowess by fighting the toughest dark boss right now, which is the Dark Archfiend on ultra difficulty. And without further ado, let us start the team showcase. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm very contented with this team's performance. And for the light element, I think I'll just work around this light fever team so that I can focus my resources on making this team as solid as possible. And thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe in order to see more World Flipper content, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!